Okay, wonderful, wonderful thoughts that are brought up. The next thing I want to do is I want to read my manifesto, I call it. So this is where, for this topic, in the days leading up to the meeting, I channel from my soul. I just get into a flow of writing a few paragraphs to help guide me, to help guide the meeting. So it's nice to just read this, and I will probably extemporize a bit on it as I read it, but it'll contains a sort of a snapshot, a nutshell, a complete set of some ideas. And then we'll get into some more details, because I definitely want to share some specific things, especially around the negativity, so we can have more understanding and compassion for our human self, so we can be that best friend to ourselves. Don't be afraid of the negativity that comes up, because your human self is suffering the negativity just like you can feel. We can be afraid of being with our human self just because so much of the negativity comes up. And of course, there are all these systems that say, well, you're such a bad human being, but that's more of the false beliefs. The negativity is like, there's just a lot of false beliefs on the earth. And just for perspective, just to be clear, this is why they say the earth is a beautiful place. It's not the dregs of the universe. It's not some awful place. It's a beautiful place. Obviously, nature on the earth is so abundant, so fertile, so amazing. It's also just that the earth functions as a master class in creatorship. You really have to learn more about loving and trusting yourself to get through the false beliefs that are on the earth. So yes, human society has a lot of false beliefs, false negative ways of looking at the world that drive people into defenses, offensive behavior, creating a lot of problems, making it look like Earth is a bad, dangerous place. Actually, there's so much love in the earth. There's so much guidance. There's so much spirituality to tune into here. Just be aware that there are these pockets of negativity, and they are on the outside in other people. They're also in you. So let the negativity you see in the outside world, the negativity meaning mean people, putting you down, all this dehumanizing stuff, it's going to trigger stuff in you. Let the stuff come up for healing. Let yourself have a sense of there's me and there's me. And between us, we're both suffering this stuff that comes up. So being able to set it aside and say, I'm so hard on myself. No, wait a minute. I'm not hard on myself. I love myself. I want me to have more fun. Let's set that negativity aside. Have an objective view of the negative things so that you can dismantle them. They will fall apart. All the negativity falls apart, doesn't make sense. How could violence possibly be the way to, have a great world? Obviously, love is the way to go. All these things. The more you love yourself, the more you'll have that strength to face the negativity, and it will dissolve, it will fall apart. And that's when you graduate the master class of Earth. Because there are a lot of worlds that are totally positive. There's nothing really dangerous going on. Everybody's having a great time. And you're like, oh my God, that's what I want. Yeah, that's what you can have on Earth. The difference is that on other planets and other worlds where it's totally positive, nobody's quite sure what's going on. Everybody's just in this wonderful flow. Am I doing it? Are you doing it? I don't know. It's just great. When you get to Earth, it really separates things out. It's like, man, I really have to figure more things out for myself. And when you do, you figure out more of who you really are, what your gifts are, what you actually bring to life, what your essential service, I call it, is. Essential service is your way of loving. Everyone has their own unique way of loving. And you need to really tap into that and trust yourself and believe in yourself to get through the false beliefs. The more you be friends with yourself and realize oh my God, not only am I, a good, decent person, I have amazing gifts that nobody else quite loves and sees the world the way I do. Exactly. You have your own unique gifts, your own unique perspective. You cherish that, you learn more about it. That's what dissolves the negative beliefs. And then in the end, yes, you can have a paradise on Earth, just like many other worlds are automatically, but you will have known how to get to paradise. You didn't have to make it happen. It was more about removing the blockages to paradise. Consciously, you learn more about how the universe works. You learn more about your gifts. That's the goal. That's how life really works. You learn about your gifts. You learn about how amazing and wonderful you are as you learn to love yourself. So I just went on another little inspirational point there. But let me read let me read this manifesto, as I call it. See what you get from this. And then I have a few points I definitely want to cover in the rest of the meeting. I'm probably going to talk straight to 1 o'clock. And then after 1 o'clock will be the meditation. So definitely a bonus time then. Again, make sure I have your email so that I can send you the recording if you can't stay for the meditation. Be your own best friend and manifest a great life automatically. Do you know the ultimate manifestation technique? No, it's not visualization. It's not affirmations. It's not calling in the most powerful angels and entities. All of those techniques are easily blocked by a lack of your own self-love. If you don't love yourself, you don't allow others to love you. And if you loved yourself fully, you would just allow the source, the universe, to give you everything you need to thrive. You know, like that little baby with the parents that just want to give you everything to grow up and have the most wonderful life. So that's where people lose hope in the self-love, because they don't love themselves and they know it and they feel it. How can I love myself when I'm such an awful mess? So their self-love is conditional, and they're stuck in a catch-22. I will love myself when I'm the person I want to be, and I'll be that person when I love myself. Well, that feels terribly real, but there is a way to get out of the trap of those self-judgments. They're all self-judgments. You realize all of us, we were raised to think that the way to get things done, the way to improve yourself is to push yourself, to criticize yourself, to beat yourself up. Like, no, that doesn't work. That just makes damaged people who are highly defensive and start giving up on themselves. No, you learn to love yourself, and that brings out all your gifts. So join us this Sunday, September 7, 2025. That's right now, for a free talk on how to set yourself free by learning how to be your own best friend. Best friends don't judge and criticize each other. They just want to be together, to share the experience of the love that they already have. That's what you can do when you learn how to trust and enjoy your own spirit and human partnership. That's what I was talking about, that you're already built in two parts to naturally be the best friends together. As they say, God doesn't make junk. You are built to work. So Teilhard de Chardin, he's a French philosopher, he famously said, you're not a human being having a spiritual experience, you're a spiritual being having a human experience. You know, it's kind of catchy, it's kind of neat. Well, but still, he was only half right, because most people are half right about something. The fact is that growth is inclusive and love is bridge building. So you can't just be one side or the other. You can't just be human having a spiritual experience or spiritual having a human experience. You're both. You're both. At different times, you are spiritual, looking at the human side of you, and at other times, you're human, looking at the spiritual side of you. The two sides can be worked together, because your consciousness is always bigger than what you're currently conscious of. And that's the gift of consciousness. You will always grow bigger. So you need to be both sides. Heaven is in the earth, and earth is already in heaven more than you know. Be human and be spirit now, forever perfect for each other. And you will find that the source of all love and miracles is already inside of you. Life becomes really fun when you can stop trying to earn deserving, and you can just already be good enough. I'm good enough to just be with myself and care about myself and accept and love myself. You see, most people don't believe that they have the source inside of them, that living, loving universe, that source of all consciousness. They think that somebody else has God, Goddess, Great Spirit, Creator, Divine Love inside of them, but they don't feel they really have it inside of themselves. And that's why human beings today are so easily frightened, they're shamed, and they're controlled as they try to please others to get things that they don't think they can get for themselves. Because people are like little children. They're desperately looking for an outside source of parental approval and support. Have no shame to feel how much your human self is that way too. Because it's not your true nature. It's just those false beliefs that we came to Earth to work through, to learn more about ourselves, to be able to say, no, that's not true that I'm a loser. I'm an incredible winner. And in the process of discovering how much I'm a true winner, it's like, wow, I really learned things about myself. Earth is a challenging masterclass in choosing self-love, because it's both a deliciously abundant planet that's full of the pleasures that you humanly desire. That's right. It's perfectly normal, natural to have lots of human desires, to want all kinds of pleasures. That's absolutely what you're here for. The earth is like delicious, and you are meant to want all of that. And then there's a world of false negative beliefs that separate you from your source and from your source nature, saying things like, yeah, you're so bad to want all that pleasure stuff. And look at you, you became addicted. So that obviously proves that the pleasures are wrong. No, addictions just prove that people don't feel good about enjoying certain things, so that they go indulge themselves and get all out of balance. Addictions come from the judgments. Addictions don't come from pleasures being bad for you. So the false beliefs, they shame you. They say you can't be what you are. And then they offer a second round of saying like, oh, but if you obey me, if you do all these things, you'll become good and you'll be rewarded. So false beliefs, it's all about the reward and punishment systems. I'm so bad, I should do this, I shouldn't do that. All of that's negative. Forget it. Trust yourself that there are some things that you really enjoy. Those are your pleasures. And then if your pleasures, if you're indulging and you get out of balance, like, oh, I did too much of a good thing, you'll feel it. Like, oh, an even greater pleasure than doing a pleasure out of balance is doing a pleasure in balance. I want everything to be pleasurable. That's how the universe really works. So when you try to make the false paradigms work, all the things that say how bad you are and wrong you are, what's going to happen is that your human self suffers and your spiritual self runs away. It goes unconscious to try to numb the pain. You get afraid of your own feelings. You get afraid of your own suffering, and you run away from yourself. And the more you abandon yourself, the more your human self feels abandoned and becomes that much more negative. That's the source of all negativity. It's a self-abandonment. It's false beliefs separating you from you, getting in middle between you, and then driving a further wedge from yourself. Like, I can't possibly slow down and feel my pain. I would die. No, actually, if you feel your pain, you'll be able to, like, it'll calm down. All of your problems will calm down the more you just love and be with yourself. If you trust, like, I'm terrified of how much I'm suffering, but if I just be with it and care with myself, it will calm down and solutions will come to you. Because the real universe, like I said, the real universe has two ways of loving you. The first way of loving you, total guidance, total gifts, total prosperity. It will guide you around all the problems. It will give you all the solutions. Life can be smooth, happy, joyful forever. The second way it loves you is that it needs to give you some examples, some reminders of whatever false beliefs you're having, because your false beliefs matter. You are a creator. You are choosing what to experience. If you have false beliefs, if you choose to believe that you're a loser and other people will fix you, then you're going to experience more of that. So the universe has to reflect the falsehoods to you, but it doesn't mean that that's how life really is. It means that you need to love yourself more to get back to the real universe that totally loves you, along with you totally loving you. So when people desperately seek their better half in another person, for example, they're in love as long as they have that other person to play with, but then they're ready to die in their loneliness when they're alone again. So, and that's seeking the outside source. When people think that their job is to save the world by changing other people, they have no idea how to change themselves. Ooh, I just got to awaken the collective. I must protect humanity from the bad guys, and I got to do more to make the world a better place. It's an endless rat race without the source inside of you to guide you home. And sadly, there are many people that think that creating your own reality, to having your own great life by law of attraction, well, that's just being selfish. You don't care about other people if you're not constantly sacrificing for other people. No, the best way to help other people is to show by example, hey, everyone, you've got the creator, you've got the source inside of you. Look at me. I care about you, but most of all, I have to make sure my own life is good. You could do the same. That's the only way to help other people, is to help yourself, to give a living example of how great life can work for you, for everyone. So, people who think that taking care of yourself, loving yourself, oh, that's just selfish, what's happening is they are projecting a part of themselves that they can't stand. They're assuming like, well, if I would just love to be, totally self-indulgent and like I'm containing myself, I'm judging myself to make sure that I don't become a monster. And then they see you taking care of yourself and having a great life. It's like, no, you're selfish. I'm not selfish. You have a selfish part of you that you haven't like resolved by loving yourself enough to have everything you want, and then you don't have to feel selfish. So projecting the parts of themselves that they don't trust, buying into the negative lies that say getting rid of the bad will finally reach the good. But only the good reaches the good. And when you know that you can create your own perfect life from the source of all love that's inside of you, then you can help others to be their own source too. Positive energy knows how to live and let live, with a place for everything and everything in its place. When you love yourself enough to receive everything that you need to have a great life, you don't stop caring about other people. You care about them more. You want to help them have a wonderful life because you found the answers for yourself. So you don't have to react in fear and hurt and anger anymore. You're guided to share what worked for you most effectively to help make the world a better place. You will align with the goddess energy. The goddess energy is amazing. The goddess does not need to have anyone else. The goddess energy is completely self-contained, self-prospering, self-loving, and doesn't become selfish. The goddess energy is where you allow other people to be themselves because you are so prospering, happy with yourself, you just want other people to find their own path too. So goddess energy is all about the unconditional love that allows other people to be themselves because you know that you can be yourself. See, most people live with conditional self-love. I will love myself if I'm happy. I will love myself if I feel good. If I don't feel good, I'll beat myself up. Get to work. You should do more. Well, that conditional self-love, they can imagine what they want for a perfect life, but then they feel painfully separated from what they want. If you feel chronically painfully separated from what you would love to have to enjoy your life, it's not that you're a bad person. It's not that you can't have that. You just have false beliefs that tell you to judge yourself, to beat yourself up, to push yourself, and that's not working. So when your human and spirit parts of yourself are perfect friends, then life is already good and always getting better. You can feel that you never leave the source, so you never actually leave heaven. The hell that many people are experiencing, it's actually a kind of nightmare in heaven. And even that hell, even the worst world you're in, becomes a heaven when you understand how much healing is possible, how much actually it's a good life and this could all be healed. Your experience of an earth that's on the brink of disaster can flip instantly to an earth that the earth is on the brink of joyful recovery, because this is the most amazing fixer-upper planet that you came to restore with all your best friends. The world is crying out for love. When you understand the kind of love you can give, imagine how wonderful that is. I wanted opportunities to love. Oh, look, there's a whole world that needs my love. It's amazing. When you find how amazing you are, you can share the gift of yourself. So you start with being best friends with yourself. There's a level of self-acceptance when you realize you're the one you've been waiting for. You are spirit and human here now to hold yourselves together so tightly in love that you squeeze all the lies out. All the negativity that was separating you from you, you will squeeze it out. It will become obvious and you'll drop it. The world only seems like a dangerous mess because the wounds are getting healed. They're getting cleaned, right? When you take a bandage off, you see how bad it is, but then you clean it out so it can really heal. The traumas have come up for healing. The unsustainable fears that make people choose hate over love, those fears are falling apart. There's nothing to fear chronically forever. Fears are temporary indications of something that is not true. Stop believing that. Stop trying to make something work that doesn't work. The madness just won't make sense anymore. You see it in the world. People are doing crazy stuff, believing crazy stuff. It's like, don't you see how crazy that is? Well, just focus on what you can see is crazy and choose what works for you. Let everyone wake up on their own schedule. Let it all work out perfectly. Let that collective out there, they can be fine as it will change. Nothing's stuck. Nothing's bad. Your catastrophizing mind thinks like, oh my God, the worst things are going to be here forever and only get worse. No, it can all change. It can change to reflect the truth of who you really are as you heal yourself. The one that you are ready to love and be loved by is the greater love, the greater you that you truly are. So for this meetup, recall times when you felt happy to be you, when you were comfortable in your own skin. What do you notice about those times? Were certain pressures gone? The things that you try to live up to, like you let go of the pressures and suddenly you can have a good time. Or maybe you had certain friends around you. What kind of support do you need to be happy, to be healthy? After check-ins to share, and you did so beautifully, thank you for sharing, we'll look at what it means to befriend yourself, including valuable techniques, and conclude with a guided meditation to feel more self-happiness. So look, there's only like 15 more minutes to talk. I want to get across what I feel is a very important concept, because what's scaring us from really like just being there with ourselves, we're scared by the negativity. But remember, your human self is scared by the negativity too. So really it's about you being with yourself to see the problems clearly and let them go. Let the real universe come in and love you as you understand more of how you can love yourself, how you can appreciate yourself. So I want to map out a little bit of, so you can understand what happens when the negativity comes up. So let's do this quickly here. So my diagram, okay, diagram of the world here. Okay, here's your human self on the earth. And here is the source. Okay, we're picturing the source, the God, Goddess, all it is, the source of all life. We're picturing it on a map. Maps, you spread things out. That's what time and space are for, to spread things out. But it's all here now. Okay, the source is around you, inside you, no worries. But so to spread it out, here's your soul. Picture it as a part of the source. Again, it is the whole source. You are one flavor of the entire universe that looks like you. You are the universe learning to love as you. So soul, you have your own soul, and your soul is always guiding you, sending you this love of all the solutions you need, all the guidance, all the safety. Yes, there are dangerous pockets in the world, but they're really, all the dangers come from people believing false beliefs. You don't have to agree with them. You don't have to agree that, violence is the answer, that love is weak, that all the craziness. You don't have to believe that. Just don't agree with people. Don't buy into it. Live the way you want to live. Be the person you want to have in your world, and your energy will totally change. Energy is real. The outside world is just sort of empty containers. You notice like people experience different things depending on what energy they bring to it. Same people can go to the same party and have totally different experiences because this person is lonely and expected to only find loneliness, and this person is happy and expected to find more happiness. Your energy is what's guiding you. And so then there's the challenge of, how do I change my energy? So look, your soul would naturally guide your human being to have the most wonderful life. And that's what nature does. When you were a part of nature, and like an animal, like an early human, a hominid, you just followed your instincts and had the most wonderful time in nature. And it's okay, you naturally grow. Consciousness naturally expands to observe itself. So you are a human, and then you are a spirit observing yourself. This is a natural process, and this is the pair. This is the pair that needs to be in love with each other, to be able to be friends with each other. When you're on the spirit side, observe your emotions and go into your emotions until you're ready to go back to the spirit side. Be with yourself and understand the beliefs that help you to know that it's safe to be with yourself. So that's what I want to get across, some of the ideas of how and why it's safe to be with yourself. It's safe because, yes, there are other people with their own souls, but it's a multiverse. The universe is connecting, networking different people. When you see people out in the world, they're not in the same world as you. You have your own inner universe, your own energy. That is what's real. You do see other people. That's because in the source consciousness, you have an ability to see other people as examples of choices. So everybody out there is just demonstrating, just illustrating, exemplifying different ways to be. And what will happen is everybody triggers in you a part of you that is believing that way too. And this is why people get so stuck with each other. They feel like, oh, you're doing it to me. No, you're doing it to yourself with what you believe. Your beliefs are doing it to you. Their beliefs are doing it to them. And then the two of you get together and point the finger and say, you're doing it to me, you're doing it to me. No, get back to like letting other people just find ways to be glad that other people even exist. Even the worst people, they're simply exemplifying something. Don't assume that, with your catastrophizing brain, foreseeing all the possible events, don't assume that bad people are going to come and get you. That's what they all think, and that makes them behave really bad. No, let bad people they're showing me something. They're something I'm going to think about in myself. This is the basic way to map the outer world back to your inner world, to let it be a kind of mirror. And what you find is that mirror is going to show you there are 4 levels of life, 4 very archetypal levels. And this is what, in the check-ins, I encourage, I didn't so much talk about it, but let's be clear. There are 4 levels of your human experience: your physical body, your emotional level of your feelings, your mental level, which you access by your thoughts, and your spiritual level of your values and inspirations. Basic technique to get in touch with yourself. Spend some time and just think about, how am I doing physically? What are my emotional feelings? What are my mental thoughts? And what are my spiritual inspirations? What are my values? And treasure that. That is you. That is your personal perspective, experience. Nobody else has to validate that. Nobody else has to relate to that. It's you relating to you. And what's interesting, so then what happens is, at the mental level, this is where belief systems are. So you think about your beliefs in terms of your thoughts, but thoughts are very physical, right? They're your images, your ideas of stories, what's going to happen. So your thoughts will clue you into your beliefs. I keep thinking that somebody's going to cheat me. Well, maybe I have a belief that people are all trying to cheat me. It can be very, very literal, but you need to make that leap to understand, what are my beliefs? What are my patterns of expectation? What are my rules, my models, my laws of like how I think the world works, how I think people are going to act? Get to that. And you're going to have different sides of yourself. Your happy side, the happy parts of yourself, like, oh, I believe the world is a wonderful place. Great, it really is. That's a true belief. The miserable sides of yourself, they're going to believe things like, life is dangerous, nobody loves me, nobody cares about me. Those are all false. So you got to get to the underlying principles. Just be glad that people are demonstrating to you, they're reflecting to you, they're reminding you of parts of yourself. Get in touch with those parts of yourself and talk to them. You just sit and be with yourself. I am so miserable. I am so, like yesterday, I was really depressed, and I had to sit with myself and just tell me about what you're depressed about. It's like, it's hard when you're depressed. It's like I just had to be with myself for a while. But what came up was anger. Often a lot of like depression and low energy, that it's changing when it turns into anger. I was angry at all the people who don't understand and appreciate me, and I'm stuck on trying to get them to appreciate me. It's like, come on, Carl, like you have all these people who come to your meetups, they understand, they appreciate. Let's just go be with the people we belong with. I was still thinking a false belief. It actually went back to childhood. I worked on some of my false beliefs that my mother and father should totally understand me just because they love me. Like my mother and father, they genuinely did love me. My mother wanted me to be happy. That's a feminine quality. The feminine is like, I just want you to be happy. I just want to accept you. I just, just be who you are. But then the fact is my mother could not accept everything about me, couldn't like everything about me, but that's okay. I needed to let her go. You need to let everyone in your life be limited experiences of what you have unlimitedly inside of yourself. Let it be like other human beings. They're just doing what they can. Remember, your job is to love yourself 100% and then be nice enough to other people that they can discover things about themselves. But everybody can love themselves 100%. So I needed to let go of some of my beliefs around like, my mother said she wanted me to be happy, but then she really wasn't happy with all of my ideas and values. That's okay. She's a limited person. I have an inner mother. Connect to your goddess self, your self-love. That totally understands me. There's a me that always totally understands me, totally supports me. And then my father's side, the father, the masculine figure, that's the part of you that takes action and provides all the resources, everything you need to have a great life. So again, like I was flashing back to like in childhood, like, okay, my father, like he was a good father. He was a good provider. He paid for things, he provided things. But was he going to spend his whole life providing for me? And did he understand and like everything I did? No. So a part of me was feeling betrayed and hurt because I had that outside source. That's why people spend their time trying to please others and get so betrayed and hurt when somebody else, oh, you were nice to me for a while, but then you had your limits and you left. When somebody does something nice for you, find the part in you. And when then somebody has to let go and like let them go, like, yeah, you're just a person. You were playing some role. We were playing for roles for each other. We were doing our best to reflect certain principles of life. But everyone, you have your own source of total self-love, total understanding, total power to ask the universe to provide everything that you need to have a great life. So this spirit-human partnership, you spend time with yourself, and what happens is you don't have to have all the answers. In will come your soul energy, and it will provide your higher self. Your higher self is the energy of all the solutions you ever need. Your soul is more feminine, like total acceptance, totally wants you to be the way you are. Imagine that. Somebody who totally wants you to be the way you are, totally loves you, totally understands you. Everything you feel and think, everything you want, absolutely, that's the way I want you to be. That's the way your soul feels about you. And then your higher self, that's the part of you that has all the solutions. You ask spirit guides to provide solutions. Yes, you have many spirit friends. They will provide solutions, but they're all sent to you by your higher self. And then your future self, we're going to talk about the future self in the meditation. Your future self is the you at the end of every process, at the end of every lesson. Like when you become the better person you want to be, that you is already there, coaching you, guiding you. Yes, come this way, come this way. But you don't have to be the perfect you already. You can spend time with your human self who can be a mess. So what I want to do, we're really running out of time. Maybe we'll run over a little time here, but I want to get across this idea, what it looks like. There's a path of negative energy, negative beliefs. Remember, negative beliefs are focusing on getting rid of stuff. And if you get rid of stuff, you're always going to get rid of stuff. You break the system. The positive path is letting things be there, always integrating, always bridge building. So even negativity, even like meanness, cruelty, has a place in the universe. It just doesn't have an active role. Okay, but you need to understand, like, it's the beginning of love itself to know that you could hurt someone, but you choose not to. See, you need to have some sense of negativity, of the wrong way to go. That would hurt me, that would hurt others. I don't want to go there, but I can see that direction. That's how you want to learn to accept that all the bad things in life, they're just showing you the wrong direction. Choose more of the right direction for you. Reinforce your values, go in the positive direction, and those negative things will recede into the distance. Negativity will always be there in your universe, but it can shrink down into a non-active form. You don't have to actively have, like dictators trying to like ruin your life. So the negative path is the one where you keep going with the negative energy of like, I got to get rid of the bad stuff. You can't even think, like somebody was saying, I think Richard was saying, like, it's mutually exclusive. You're either like loving or you're controlling. It's true. So negative direction is like you think about the bad stuff and you think about how you need to control it. The first thing that happens on the negative path is you have a sense of blockages. Things that are against you, things that are in your way. It's not true. Actually, the universe is totally for you, would totally help you. But in the negative path, you're focusing on like all I can think of is the bad stuff, the things that aren't doing what they should do. Well, that comes from judgments. There are two kinds of judgments. The path of negativity is the negative judgments. Negative judgments, that's the sense of condemnations. A judgment is just an opinion on what would be good. But a negative judgment is where you say, this is my opinion and this is what everyone should be doing. This is what's right for everyone. Anybody who doesn't do this is wrong and bad. That's the negative path. So that's why religions can hurt so much. So many are burned on religion because they had absolute judgments of you're a bad person if you don't do this. The positive path has opinions too. It has value, personal value judgments. I know what's good for me. I have my opinion. I like this. I don't like that. I want more of this. I don't want more of that. And I have no idea what's good for other people. Hey, everybody, live and let live. Have your own life. Do whatever's right for you. I will find the path that's right for me. That's the positive path. So instead of blockages on the positive path, you have ideals. Ideally, the universe loves me, has total support for me. The things I can't do, I don't have to think of it as a blockage. Like, oh, I should be able to do everything. I should be able to omnipotent and control the world. But there are blockages. Like, no, you're not supposed to control the world. You're supposed to have ideals. There are things I can do. And beyond that, the universe loves me. There's a whole soul. There's a whole soul system of my higher self and future self that I can have all this love and understanding. That's the positive path. So I want to map this out to go further down the negative path, because I want you to understand, have a sense of like, oh, when my human being is really negative, when I'm in a lot of like negative critical thoughts, oh, those are just the absolute judgments that don't work for me. And, when I get really nasty, oh, it's just, that's my human self trying to adapt to this negative stuff. You can back out of it. So if you hold on to an idea of like the universe is out to get me with blockages, you will get into like the negative lifestyle. There's a negative lifestyle you get into of like sort of the negative benefits. You won't be able to solve the blockages. You'll never be able to get rid of all the bad guys, but you'll be able to blame. You'll be able to blame and to be able to punish and be able to set up reward systems like, oh, if you're a good person, I'll give you this. And if you're a bad person, I'm going to hurt you. And that's right. I'm supposed to defend myself that way. And I get to blame and I get to be a victim and I get to be powerless. And there's a whole negative lifestyle. That's when your human being gets really ugly. You need to be able to spend time with yourself and see all that ugliness and accept it and forgive it and just say, look, my human being, honey, I love you. Let's get on to the other side of ideals. The universe loves us. You don't have to think of all the blockages. But if you hold on to the blockages and all your negative behaviors, the blame and the punishments, the paranoia and all that, you will get down into codependencies. And this is when you meet people who fit into your ideas of how bad the universe is. Codependencies. This is where people manifest like, oh, I thought the world was really bad. And sure enough, I met all these awful people. And people get into these toxic relationships. They can't seem to get out of them. Why can't I just run away from these abusers? Why do I keep meeting more abusers? Because you have the negative lifestyle and the blockages inside of you. Clear that up inside of you with self-love, and you won't hold on to toxic relationships. And the bottom of the negative lifestyle is disease. You become a person who's ill, mentally, physically, emotionally ill. You see people that in the world, they're so crazy, they're so mentally ill. It's like, you've got to stop that. Yeah, you got to get to the side of ideals. So very briefly, ideals, that's where you find where you can function and let the universe love you beyond that. And so where you can function, you have a sense of principles. This is what I do. I believe in ideals of love. My principle will be, I will be as kind and honest as I always can. Your principles, your daily rules for yourself. I will do my best. And character is where you apply your principles consistently. There are people who have wonderful principles. They'll say like, oh yeah, let's be honest and everything, but then they lie every chance they get. No, you need to be consistent with your principles so you can trust yourself. And then you will get to a state of integrity, which is total health. It's total, like you just do the right thing. At the character level, you're trying to be the best person. At the integrity level, you have fully manifested like, yeah, my life is great. I'm with the best people. I know what's going on. I'm honest in the best ways. I love myself. That's what you're looking for. So to have that courage that it's okay to be a human mess and be with yourself and have some sense of like, look, honey, it's okay. Tell me how you feel. Spend time with yourself. I recommend 20-minute emotion meditations. Set a timer for 20 minutes, just alone by yourself, accepting yourself, not on a stage, like kind of cathartically, like tell all your secrets and people applaud you. Like that's not going to last. That's not going to stick. You bring out all your secrets with yourself. So the other day I had to heal myself by realizing like I faced the part of me that was really angry and punishing. And that's what was making me depressed, because I don't want to be a punishing person, but I was still holding on to the people who weren't there for me as much as I needed to be there for myself, and getting angry and feeling punished and wanting to punish and all that stuff. So you spend 20 minutes with yourself to feel those feelings, and then you let it go. You just love yourself. It's like, thank you, honey. Thank you, my friend, my human friend, for telling me how you feel. Let's do something really wonderful together. So the end of 20 minutes, you let go and you go do something self-comforting, something nice, something fun, well within your means. Take a walk, sing a song, hug yourself, have a nice little healthy treat, whatever. And then that's a complete set of being human. I listen to my emotions safely in a safe space. Then being spirit, I decided something loving, something caring for myself. Together, you will have more realizations of how the universe really works. Like whenever I do an emotion meditation, later on, I will get a sense of like guidance and peace. And I may get very specific intuitions of like, oh, I could solve this problem by letting go that kind of person. And I could solve this problem by like doing this over here and making new choices. So that's the basic pattern of working with yourself. Accepting the human emotions, becoming a spirit who wants the best for yourself, doing your best, and letting more of the universe come to you, and you will find loving solutions come to you. It's amazing. And the problem people will just recede into the distance. You don't experience that. You don't believe in the problems anymore. You don't have to jump into the problems anymore. Okay, so that's that.